Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
Welcome to Go Sports Tactics. I'm really excited about this one today. We finally got Justin Rabikoff here on the show.
In any case, every player should be jumping, especially on a bunker like that, should be jumping over the lane. First off, I want to say that kill was as free as the East Coast Division. I back to the thing, and Chad runs through at that exact moment. You have to play perfect to win a tournament, right? And this is one of those situations.
Right into each other.
Welcome to Go Sports Live. I'm Matty Marshall. I'm real happy about today's show because I got one of the biggest legends in the game. Look, we mostly only deal in legends on this show. We got up and comers, but you know, I don't throw that name out lightly. We bring some heavy hitters on this show, but Tyler Harmon is one of the biggest heavy hitters we got. I mean, Tyler Harmon's been playing pro paintball so long, when the dinosaurs were roaming the earth and I was playing pro paintball, Tyler Harmon was there, 12, 13 years old. Battling against grown-ass men. But before we jump into what is going to be an epic conversation, I'm sure, as every time that we sit down and talk, it's epic. Tyler's an old soul. This is going to be a good one. So buckle your seatbelts, grab a drink. I'm stoked on this one. Definitely check out his new podcast as well that he started with another one of my favorites, Marcelo Margot, the Play the Game podcast. Find that wherever you get your podcasts. But, man, paintball's back. I hope everyone's staying safe and staying out there. Happy Friday to everyone out there. Again, we're doing this all for you guys. This is for the fans, and hopefully you guys have been able to get the grind back on because fields are opening up. Tournament series are starting to open up. Obviously, be as careful as you possibly can as COVID is still ravaging the earth. But still, people are starting to live again. Thank God. The U.S. XBL is going to be back on, going down in Texas. Obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, got the ultimate shootout. The next episode is going to be a bloodbath. It's funny, during the open of that show, I said fix bayonets and meet in the middle. I didn't really think that they would do it because sure enough, there was a collision in the middle of the field. And it's BJ Henningberg and Ryan Hall. That episode's coming out tomorrow. I got the current one-on-one champ in the Pro Tour with me right now, Tyler Harmon. He's going to be taking on Keith Brown. That will also be on Go Sports. But yeah, we got lots more ultimate shootouts. We put 2 complete tournaments in the can. Those are going to be coming out. Pro Tour is going to be coming out live. That will be June 19th, where Tyler will be battling, like I said, against Keith Brown, who we've had on the show recently, another one of the best in the business guys too. And I think that's an interesting matchup. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about San Diego Dynasty. Yeah, man. Also, we've had a ton of content coming your way. We're going to continue to do that. Live shows typically Wednesday and Friday, occasionally Thursday and Friday, depending on people's schedules. Tactical Tuesday. We had J-Rab episode that just dropped last Tuesday. Those coming out every single Tuesday. And then At Home with Ryan Greenspan's on Mondays. Anyway, man, without any further ado, let's jump into this here. So, Tyler, I think the first thing, let me ask you how you're doing. I want to know how you're doing out there in Arizona. So I'll start with that. But then I want to dive into your history because I think people forget how long you've been in this game. And I still feel like you're just getting better and better, man, every year. You have not got fat and slow. You are as nimble as you've ever been, like a jaguar out there. So how you doing out there, man? How's the fam doing?
Doing good. We're doing really good, man. And let me just first start off by saying, holy crap, I got pumped when I was watching those commercials. It has me juiced to get out there and start playing again. Man, I miss this so much. I miss seeing all you guys at the events. I miss the flow, the energy of the tournaments, and I just can't wait for us to all get back to normality. But things have been really good out here in Arizona. I got my 2 boys and my wife. We made the move out here in the beginning of the year. Wifey's kicking butt and, landed a nice little job, and I'm taking care of the boys right now and pursuing paintball pretty much full time and just giving it everything I got. training really hard and getting ready for Keith Brown that I'm going to fight here in a couple weeks. It's been great, man. Obviously, things are crazy with COVID, and there's a lot going on in the culture. My heart goes out to everybody. I hope everybody's staying safe. And it's trying times, but we got to come together and be the best community of people that we possibly can for each other. And that's really what matters most right now.
Let me ask you this then, since, there's definitely trying times, and I think a reoccurring theme on this show and a reoccurring theme in our culture is how much of a unifier paintball can be, because yes, it does take money to play it. So of course there is going to be an element of privilege in the fact that, either you worked your ass off to afford, you have the privilege to have that money, or you have parents that are well off and you can play the game that way. However it is. But once you get out to the paintball field, it really is, you keep what you kill, come one, come all, at least in my experience. I'm not saying that there's not some bad stuff that's going on somewhere else.
Absolutely.
But we've traveled quite a bit. I'm not saying that there's not bad stuff going on, but I mean, dude, I've been around the world playing this game. I played in Japan. I played in Tahiti. I played all over Europe. I mean, I've kind of been all over, and I know you have too. So I think that this game is a great unifier, and I just kind of wanted to kind of pick your brain slightly on what you think about this game. And we call it the gifts of the game. And I think the fact that look, as much as there are certain places for safe spaces in the world, the fact that paintball isn't in the best way possible, though, you come out into this arena of paintball. And it really is just, hey, man, we don't care tall, short, man. It doesn't really matter. Any color, any size, any level, however, what it is. Yes, again, you have to have some money to be able to play the game. But once you come onto that field, we just need you to do your job, be a super cool human being that we can hang out with. And that's about it, dude. Like, that's the qualifications. It's like, if you're good and you're chill to hang out with and you're going to work your ass off to be a betterment to the squad as a whole, then it doesn't really matter. So what do you think about the whole gifts of the game element side? Because I know you're all about that side of it.
Oh man, absolutely. We live in a unique paradigm with this sport that we play. It's the most beautiful community of any sport. I'm a sports fanatic, and I've played tons of sports, and we have a truly special and unique opportunity with paintball to shed this light around the world through this sport. Even through this COVID madness, like, we play a sport where there isn't that contact, there isn't that, close quarters type stuff with the traditional sports. So we have a unique opportunity right now to debut paintball as one of the safest sports that you can play in this moment. And then, in regards to just community, paintball is the best community in the world. We have people from all walks of life. And when you get on that paintball field together and we all are in our gear and having fun, there is no race, there is no color, there is no problems. It's just us as a people playing the game together and having fun and living life and accomplishing goals, and just it's a pure space to be in, and we're so lucky to have it.
It is I think that's so true. It's so interesting though, because I remember sitting with Alex Lundqvist's mother, and we were in Sweden. Sweden is an incredibly peaceful culture, very elevated. I mean, it's a culture that so anyway, they've taken in a massive amount of refugees, from the Syrian crisis. But, so I'm sitting there with this incredibly well-educated and cultured woman. And she said, I think it should be mandatory, particularly for men. I think you should have to play paintball when you're younger. And I was like, well, okay. Well, she said, I learned something. I think I was in my, I think I was 25 at the time. And I said, okay, well, can you explain your thoughts behind that? Now, she didn't play, but she saw what it had done to both of her sons. And she said, I think she's sitting there with her glass of wine, just all elegant and regal. And she's just like, she's just, imagine me, like, really pretty woman. I know it's tough because I'm bald and I have a gray beard, but just imagine in an alternative universe. So, she's sitting there, pinky out, and she's just like swirling the wine. And she's just like, I think there's a demon that lives in most men's souls, and I think it has to be purged. And I think paintball does a good job of doing that, because I've seen its betterment of both of my sons participating in this activity. And even though, yes, we try to pride ourselves on being a peaceful culture, that having that little bit of violence purges greater violence. And I was like, holy shit, dude, stop the presses. This is such a fascinating insight. And because I would definitely see that same sort of thing too. It's kind of like, like my mom has cancer right now. So if you guys are prayers out there, please pray for my mother. But one of the things though is that
God bless her.
But she's going through chemo right now, right? So chemo is a poison that you give to your body to cure. But it's all about dosage. So I mean, salt, your body needs salt, but in massive dose, sodium can kill you. So, the difference between like pain is just amplified pleasure. So, because you're using the same nerve endings that register pain are the same ones that register pleasure. So, again, so dosage dictates whether or not something can heal or something can kill. So I think that from the outside in, and this is something that paintball has gotten a bad rap for over time, paintball is still illegal in a lot of places on planet Earth, which is totally ridiculous if you really truly think about it. But I don't want to hijack, your story with paintball story, but I think because you're such an energetic and positive person, and I could see the benefits that paintball has had for all of our lives and your life, of course. But I know that this is something I just wanted to hear you speak on because, and what sort of experiences, you've had in your life. Because I really truly feel that paintball can be one of those, the things that can, in an incremental, slow, way, move us 1 micromillimeter towards a better world,
Yes, absolutely. If it wasn't for paintball, I would not be in good shape right now. I come from, a pretty fun town called Modesto, and people like to have fun. And yeah, and I love Modesto with all of my heart. But I've also lost a lot of friends, and a lot of people are hurting out there because there's just not a lot of opportunity. And paintball gives people opportunity. It has given me a tremendous amount of opportunity. I mean, my life would not be the same without paintball, and I'm forever grateful for this community I'm a part of. Dudes like you, Matty, and others have taught me so much along the way. And I'm just like Rich Telford. Let me just, don't even get me started on him. There's just so many great characters that we have in this community. And, like you said, if you can play paintball and you can afford, to get that gear, because really that's the big expense. You got to get the gear and then you got to pay for the paint, which isn't too bad once you have the gear. If you can do that, because what it's going to teach you, like you said, Matty, it's going to kind of purge you. It's going to take that side of you we all have as humans, where you get pent up and, have a little frustration or whatever you want to call it. And when you go to the field, you're able to get that out. You're able to free that. And it makes you just a tremendous person. You get to connect with the community. You're using teamwork. It's a well-rounded human characteristic sport that is going to just make you a better person. Absolutely.
So, because I feel you and I could talk about this forever, but, and we could continue to flesh this out as we continue this interview, but dude, I just want you to, let's go back real quick. Let's, you talk about Modesto. A lot of people don't understand. Modesto is my grandmother lived in Modesto. My family's originally from Northern California on my dad's side, and that actually was my grandmother or my great grandmother that lived there. But so I got some history with Modesto. It was actually a trip too, because my great grandmother lived like 2 blocks from where I used to crash and sleep on Rich's couch, and I did not know that all the years that I was going up to Modesto and sleeping on Rich's couch for practice and going to his field and doing the bloody knuckles drill where you and I would scrimmage against each other, all those years ago, and you were on Bobby's team. But then sure enough, and I found out on my mom's side, like, because she was like, yeah, we used to go up to Modesto for Christmas all the time. And, your great grandmother lived on such and such street over by the college. I'm like, well, wait a second. What street? Anyway, so that was kind of an interesting thing. But it's not that, but that town, I mean, look, man, that is like I always would say that if you're unfamiliar with because a lot of people just think California, oh, it's a big state, but I don't think they understand how big it is and how diverse it really is. There's like 38, 40 million human beings that live in the state of California, and the Central Valley of California. I was out, my wife is from Fresno, and I would always describe you're from there, so tell me if this is a good metaphor or not. But I would always describe to people that weren't from there, I'd say, look, the Central Valley, that's like the Midwest of California. That we grow a ton of food. It's one of America's big bread baskets. But also in some of these cities, in Fresno, in Modesto, Bakersfield, which is the southern end of the valley, and then you get all the way to northern end of the valley, not even the northern end, but it continues to go past that where Sacramento is. But there's not a ton of opportunity there, man. It's not San Francisco, it's not LA, it's not San Diego. There's not thriving tech companies just bursting at the seams with money and capital to just throw at tons of people. So there's a decent amount of poverty there. And you hear the stories that Rich Telford tells about growing up. I mean, you can get into trouble there if you don't have your wits about you. You can get sucked into that meth rabbit hole. You can get sucked into the partying rabbit hole. You can get sucked into this rabbit hole where there's just not a lot of positivity in your life. So that's where you kind of laid the seed. That's where you came from. But how did you kind of get into the game? Because I remember you popping up. We were joking before we went live. I was like, dude, like, I know you're a grown ass man and you're taller than I am now. And I'm not short, but I'm like, and you're a father. But there's a part of me that every time I see you, I still see that like smiling, cool little face of 12, 13-year-old Tyler Harmon in his giant ass hoodie, when like your pops was around and they were like, this is the new kid. This kid's going to be the second coming, dude. He's playing on Bobby's team. And I was like, that tiny little kid over there, look how small he is, and now you're like this super tall Jaguar, bro. So, I mean, you grew up right. But all right. So bring us back to that moment.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I got my roots out in Modesto playing at Rich Telford's field, Extreme Paintball. Absolutely love those guys and love that community out there. Huge shout out to the Central Valley. Love all you guys. I miss everyone so much. I started out on a team called Twisted Kids, and we had a store in Modesto that was called Twisted Paintball, and it was the little factory team for the store. And then that was when I was about 11 years old. And then I played pretty well and made the factory team and was playing with Twisted Factory. And we won some national NPPL tournaments for like the novice division. And then did well in that for about a year and a half. And then we would practice out in Manteca, which is another little Central Valley town. And that's where the Oakland Assassins would play at. And we would always be going heads up out at Extreme prior to, getting on Oakland. And that's where I saw you a lot, saw OG Dynasty, OG Ironman, which was like, whoa, I was so fortunate to be able to grow up in that town and have these premier teams come out to the field, because I would be watching Push every day and like, just streaming different things that I could at the time. And I was blown away that I was able to go out to the field and see these dudes. And I learned so much watching all of you guys just bash each other in weekend after weekend. And then we would go. Oh yeah, it was amazing. We would go out
and a lot of
to,
people, just hold on. Cause a lot of people don't like, I would try to explain to people, like, cause some people, again, the fact that people are too lazy to drive far sometimes drives me crazy. The fact that like people complain about don't get me wrong, when you guys are going out and there's like rocks that could hurt the pros and hurt all these paying customers, like that's different. But we also cut our teeth in the Badlands not the Badlands in Chicago, though I went there and played there a ton too. But I mean, a lot of people didn't understand Extreme Paintball back in the day used to be just in the summer, it would be 110 degrees. This primed you for Arizona, bro. Cause like it would be 110 degrees, scorching hot. And it was this dirt that was like basically as hard as concrete. And then in the winter, it was basically hard as concrete with like an inch of really slick mud on the top of it, maybe like a half an inch. So, but it didn't really absorb any of the. My right knee still doesn't work that well because of all those times that we were playing on that field. Sorry, I didn't want to hijack the story, but I just wanted people to remind them that how hard you did come up. Like it wasn't beautiful turf fields that Tyler got to grow up on. It was gnarly old dudes, just going at him and breathing down his neck and yelling at him all the time. And then just crazy ass fields of just roughness. I don't know how you're still in one piece, bro, because you started so long ago. But anyway, I'm sorry. Continue.
No, you're absolutely right, Matty. It was the most brutal field ever. And now they have turf out there, which is great. But in the beginning, it was cement. You were playing on cement with rocks sticking out and just getting worked. And it was really rough. And then not only that, but you had some of these dudes were badass. I mean, all these dudes out here at the time were just badass dudes. And in the wintertime, not only was it rocks with cement, but it smelled like crap because it was literally manure fields everywhere. So you just had the smell of crap on you for like a week. Yeah. And then then I played on Twisted Factory for a little bit, made the move over to a little bit grassier field out at the Manteca water slides. They had a water slide park out there we would play at, and that's where I tried out for Bob Long's Assassins, and I made the team. I did really well that day. It was a practice against.
Hold on. Give everyone I think this is important though, but give me your timeline as far as age is concerned. Because bro, you were young when you first came out.
Yeah.
I mean, you were. So to give some people the ages, because I think that's impressive.
Yeah. So I was 13 years old when I got on the Oakland Assassins. I think that I hold the world record still for the youngest pro player ever to play professionally. I got on the team when I was 13, and then I started playing my first tournament when I was 14. I played in Mardi Gras, the year that there was like 2 foot of water, and I had to run to the center 50X off the break, and this was the old school X ball with the big X in the middle, and we're playing against Aftershock. And it was Ryan Williams was at this lay down rolly. So I trudge up there through literally felt like 2 feet of water. It was flooded. And I get up to the X and I shoot Ryan Williams right in his goggles. And that was my first kill ever. And I was like, oh my God, I got one. And then I got smoked down not too long after that. But it was an amazing experience.
Yeah. Well, and
man.
again, dude, now when you go up and you meet Tyler Harmon, you're going to be like, the majority of the population is going to be like, what's up, Tyler? Nice to meet you, because you're a pretty tall dude. At the time, you didn't really get your height until, I don't know when you got your height. I didn't really get, again, I'm not super tall, but I didn't get over 6 foot tall until after I graduated high school. But I can't remember when I saw you at one point in time. And when I think when it went from, at first it would be like, hey, what's up, Tyler? Hey, bro, nice to meet you. And then eventually it's like, hey, what's up, Tyler? Oh yeah, okay, let's get a dope scrimmage on. And then it was like eye to eye, and then finally it would be like, Jesus Christ, bro, is this guy gonna stop growing? Because he just keeps getting bigger. But anyway, but when you're picturing Tyler, you can't pitch Tyler Harmon as he exists now. You have to picture 14-year-old Tyler Harmon, little scrawny dude running up in the blazing crazy rain, because the bunkers, fields were floating away. Fields were literally, I remember going out to look at one of the fields, and hit it because the stakes were still in, but the field, it was like a rising tide raises all boats. A rising tide also raises all bunkers as well too, and all the bunkers had come up and then just started to float into the forest that was right next to the field. It was crazy. All right, so Ryan Williams was your first kill, that's a legend that you killed right away in that tournament.
Yeah. So, after that, and like you said, I've had to metamorphosize my style of play over the years as I've grown, because I started out, 5 foot nothing, and I was like the snake player, lead snake, playing all those little pins. They used to have pins that were like the size of, I don't know, just tiny little pins that I would go and play. And then I've had to metamorphosize how I play now that I'm 6'2", 6'3". But after that, I just continued playing with Oakland for about 7 years or 8 years. And then I played with several other teams, and then found my home finally again with Dynasty, because once the whole Oakland camp kind of dissipated, I was still trying to find a new home, because I had been with my family for so long. And it was really sad to see, Bob Long not be in the sport anymore. Love that dude so much. He's like a father to me. And so I had to find a new home, and I found that with Dynasty, thankfully, in 2013. And I've been here ever since. This is my 8th season with them.
Yeah, that makes so much sense, though, because knowing that you were from such a hardcore team like the Oakland Assassins. I mean, so Bob Long, if some people are unaware, Bob Long was not the original, but the most important captain of the OG Ironman when the Ironmen made their run in the early 90s. And then it's, again, longer story, but then he kind of left / was demoted, because paintball teams are like a pirate ship, dude. If you want a fascinating history, read some history of pirate ships. The pirate ship was a democracy. The guys would vote who the captain was going to be. And at any given time, you would vote in the captain, you would vote in the quartermaster. Black Sails is an amazing show. If you've never seen Black Sails, definitely check that out, everybody out there. There's some awesome pirate history books. And every time I would read these pirate history books, I'd be like, oh, yeah, dude, paintball teams, that's a pirate ship. It's exactly the same, dude. Pretty much. It's, you're out trying to, basically take things over, aka win tournaments. It's you are kind of deciding amongst the Survivor Island elements and situations that confront a team, what's going on at that time. And then you have these alpha personalities, male or female, because there's, female teams out there, but alpha personalities will arise. You have to make your way within, because, even if you're not a hardcore alpha personality, you could still be an incredibly integral part to the foundation of that team and its function. But just like in pirate ships, but that person is not typically going to be the captain. But anyway, but it's just, but so Bob Long got kicked out of, and then he formed his own squad. And then we had 2 Ironmans, and I was on the other one. I was on the Southern California
Mhm.
Ironman, and we fought against them for years. And then X-Ball came around, and then the Oakland Assassins, they changed the name to that, which is a dope name if you think about it. The Oakland Assassins,
Yeah.
great name. Super good name.
Mhm.
And that was anyway. But I just thought it was really fitting. I remember when I heard that Dynasty had picked you up, I was like, dude, of course. That's such a perfect
Yeah.
home for him, for obviously you as a player, and it's going to help Dynasty out because you're an amazing, again, dude, you don't get to play pro paintball at 14 goddamn years old if you're not a phenom. That's literally the definition of a phenom. So, you were one of those
Yeah.
guys. I just thought it was super fitting that you played for Dynasty and have stuck with the team for so long. And you are, part of the beating heart of Dynasty. I mean, you are a big spark plug. So I definitely want to
Yeah.
eventually, because I want to start talking about Dynasty and your place on the team and how things have gone out. We still got a lot to talk about, though. We got to talk about
Yeah.
Pro Tour one-on-one with Keith. I want to get your thoughts on Ultimate Shootout and the rules there and some of these matchups that are going to go down. Also, Chad Boucher is going to be playing Pat Kraft at the Pro Tour as well, too. We're going to be filming that or broadcasting that live on the 19th of June. So anyway, we got a little bit to talk about, but but if we just kind of can just cap up or, kind of bookend the conversation of you coming up hardcore in California in every way, shape, and form, the hard way to come up, in the brutal deep end of the pro game with all these older dudes kind of giving you the business at all times. But again, like we said, the gifts of the game, right? You as a father of a boy now, and my wife's pregnant with a boy right now too, my first, and we've kind of talked a little bit.
Congratulations,
like, I'm so
baby.
stoked for you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I can't wait. So just, crossing my fingers that everything goes well because he's not here yet.
Absolutely.
But you got a son, but at the same time, because you were thrown into that environment where you had a bunch of older brother figures, I just think that, man, it ages you in a way that it adds a lot of complexity to your understanding of the world. And I think that's a really good thing. I would absolutely give my son to a paintball team as long as I would check off exactly who it was, knowing all the perils that could present. They're going to be around drinking. They're going to be around stuff. They're going to be, there's a lot of stuff going on. But that being said, it's like, as long as you kind of vet those dudes a little bit, it does make them understand the visceral realities of the world and help them confront those things. And it makes them a tougher person.
Absolutely. Yeah. And my dad, he rolled with me from, when I got on the team from when I was 14 till I was like 19. We rolled to all the tournaments together and had it was the best bonding of my life. I love my dad with all my heart. I don't get to see him as much as I want. He lives up in Mount Shasta, but man, that dude is a rock star.
Nice
I got the best dad in the world. Yeah. And, you're right, Matty. It does throw you into the fire, but that's what you need. You got to get into that fire and you got to get burnt a little bit. You got to, take your lumps. You got to find out that the world isn't peaches and dreams and, clouds and all this stuff. It's a real world. And it shows you that. And obviously the dudes all had my back. They're all looking out for my best interest, but in the same token, they're raising me up. They're training me to be a good man. And I would not be the man I am today without the Oakland Assassins and without my father and without dudes like you and Rich and like all these guys that I got to get brought up by watching all you guys. So I'm eternally grateful for the heritage of that. And, it was definitely, there was a lot of days that nobody saw me before I was, maybe a good paintball player, but I was always at the field every weekend, 2 days a week if I could, 3 days a week, however many on Wednesday nights. If I could make whatever I could, I was always playing paintball because I love paintball. And, there's a lot of people out there that chase this dream and they see what we have and they see the glory and all this stuff and they think that it's just given, but it's earned on all the days that nobody saw me, all the skin I lost, all the lumps I took, all the people that beat the shit out of me when nobody was watching. And, that's what makes you the man that you become. And now I have the luxury of, hopefully being able to have my sons get tossed into the fire and learn those types of things and make it all come full circle. But don't ever think that what you see on the TV screens is how it really is. You really have to have skin in the game. Otherwise you won't get anywhere.
Yeah. Like many people have said, there are levels to this, and it's not just levels as in pro to division, whatever the entry level is these days, but there's levels to understanding. And you don't necessarily have to be, you can have levels of understanding, never have gotten to the pro game. That's why I love meeting divisional players, because dude, they play for the pure joy. Of course they want to win, but they understand those gifts of the game. They get, I think one of the best words is resiliency. Paintball choosing to do this. And this could be, there's many different ways to develop a resiliency to the meat hook realities of the world. Like you said, man,
of course.
Look, dude, the world it can be an amazing place. There's a lot of awesome people out there, but at the same thing, like if you're not raising your kids, or you don't have an understanding that, like, look, dude, you do have to have it's not all peaches and cream, dude. Pick your metaphor, whatever it may be. I love that. It's there's so many different ways and cliches to say things, but at the end of the day, you really have to go out into the world and try to make something of yourself, and that comes from hard work. It comes from education. It comes from waking up and thinking like, okay, well, there's a famous saying that, daily incremental advancements over time create a drastic competitive advantage. And that's exactly what you're saying. You every day going out and just getting a little bit better, easier said than done. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. There's not, it's not necessarily rules, it's principles, things that have worked in the past and will work in the future, whether that be in your life. And that's why self-help books are so huge, but in paintball too, but paintball very much is a metaphor for life. Like, yes, in the sense that everyone should have an equality of opportunity. So you're a human being, you've purchased a paintball gun. There's the paintball field. Head on out there and do whatever you want with that. Good luck. Good luck. Here's a pat on the back. Don't be weak. You're going to need some toughness. Get your ass out there, but that's it. That's there's your equality of opportunity. Equality of outcome. That's not the real world, man. Like, that's not how the world works. Like the outcome is uncertain in life. I could walk out and get smoked by a car on the way to my little daily market. I could get hit by light. I mean, you never know what the hell is going to happen to you. But at the same time, being resilient and having that resilient attitude, and because a resilient attitude magnifies, whatever you have in the bag at that time, like you do. Because this is why I love the way you play the game. You are always so amped up and so positive, and it's easy to say that's like, it's a shield. It's like armor that you put on yourself, and you do that intentionally because you know that going into any situation, no matter how bad or good it may be, dude, it's easy to be an awesome person when everything's going your way, but when things aren't going your way, that's when you're truly tested. That's when you're really going to find out what you're made of and what all your friends are made of. And again, that's why paintball is great, because dude, you lose way more than you win here. It's been a while since Dynasties won a tournament, but they're the most successful team on planet Earth ever. So, that's the diversity of the outcomes and the possible things that can happen to you out there, and what makes it special. It makes you appreciate when you do get a win so much more, with the fact that you lose so often playing the game of paintball. Even a team like the most recent team that went on a run, Impact went on a crazy run, right? Okay, cool. Well, you don't get to stay at the top of the mountain forever, and you have to deal with that. So let's kind of track back a little bit. I kind of want to get your thoughts. So, so you're going, you're coming out, you basically cut your teeth the hardest way possible, essentially, in that crazy, coming up as a young teenager. You earned a lot of respect from us older salty dudes who weren't even that old and that salty at the time, but we got older and more salty as we got our way through. So then now you get on Dynasty. So just talk to me about that transition, because that's such a crazy thing. Because at the time, you've been on the team for 8th season now. That's a crazy team to get on. You have that core of guys, that special group of dudes. You got to play with Oliver. Obviously, Ryan's still around. Having Yosh be that voice of reason, having the fun, creative input, that wisdom of Alex Frazier there too, and then all the different guys that have come in and out over the years. You got to see a lot of that. You got to be there for big wins. I mean, it's been quite a ride. So I would not be doing my due diligence to the people out there if we didn't get to talk a little bit about this. So talk to me a little bit about, first coming on the team and being like, shit, all right, well, this is awesome, but I got to make my way, and I got to fit in here. I got to hold the line on the field, but also I got to fit in off the field too, during the practices. So talk to me about first getting on the team and what that was like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm 31 now. I've been playing, professionally for quite a while now. And when I got on the team, I was 23. And I had, been searching for a family. I played for Impact, played for Damage, hopped around a little bit until I found Dynasty. And when I did, growing up, I had always watched these guys play. It's just, I would study them relentlessly. And so it was like euphoria. It was like, is this real life? I'm on Dynasty now. And we actually, we won our first tournament that myself, Kyle Spica, Brandon Short came on. And they actually, the word around the street was that Dynasty would never win again when we came on the team. 2012, 2011, they hadn't won in a while. And so we had some fire under our butts, and I came in just ready to rip faces off. And I still play like that today, but it was really special because Kyle, Brandon, myself came on. We joined forces with the OGs and, like Dalton and Brandon, and we all just came in and we had this fire and we went on a run. And we won that the series title that year, won a few tournaments, and it was a really special year. And then, it was crazy because, Ryan and Oliver and Yosh and Alex are like the cornerstones and the foundation of the whole democracy, essentially. And so being able to pick their brains. Yeah, the pirate ship, man. Yeah. So being able to pick their brains was really special. Like, I got to apprentice under Oliver Lang, for a long time, and he taught me so much. And he's an integral part of the way that I approach the game. And he along with players like Todd Martinez, Chris Lasoya are my root of my passion. Those are my brothers. I've watched them play since I was a little kid, and we became great friends over the years. So it's been a really cool journey. Obviously, we haven't won in a couple years, but don't count us out, man. We're coming for that gold every time. And
of course.
Yeah. So we're going to be getting that gold here. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well,
but
let me talk about that. Just hold on. I just want to talk about that because you've been a part of so many different of these legacy names. Again, you were with Bob Long with the Oakland Assassins, successful. You were Damage, Impact. Those are teams that you can get success by osmosis, by being around these people who are successful. A vibe, a mental vibe, and an understanding of how to approach a moment when you need to get in that flow state and perform is contagious. And I definitely noticed that in your game, because when you look, you just mentioned Chris Lasoya, Todd Martinez, and Oliver Lang. I played either with or against all those dudes, and I know them very, very well. Dude, totally, man. Yeah. I mean, the way that you approach not just the game itself and how you play that charismatic, aggressive, but counterpunch when you need to, your style of play is very, very much like those three guys. Those are three of the best, some of the best dudes that have ever done it. I mean, depending on who you talk to and who watched what game and when, which is why I'm so passionate about the project that we are currently doing here with Go Sports. It's been such a passion of mine to make sure that this becomes a reality, because, if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? No, it doesn't, because no human was there. Sound is literally a living creature understanding that vibration of that thing moving through the air. So, all the best games that Chris Lasoya played, that Oliver Lang played, and Todd Martinez played, all of that generation that you got to watch coming up and push. Thank God for guys like Patrick Spohr and Rob Astamendi and some of the Dan Napoli, these documentarian filmmakers, these storytellers, because the way that a human brain perceives the world is through story. And if you can't tell someone a good goddamn story, then no one cares about shit. And so having those people tell those select stories created the institution that was the golden age of paintball back then. But so much of it lives in the abyss. It literally just lives in my memory, Todd's memory, your memory, guys that you got to see certain things. I one time watched with Shane Pastana, and he's still alive, so he can vouch for this. I watched Chris Lasoya shoot, I think, 9 dudes in a 10-man game one time against Rage in Gettysburg. And as much as Shane didn't want to admit it, it was just the two of us on the sidelines. And Shane looked at me and was like, God damn, that dude is really good at this game. There were no cameras there. Nobody was filming. It was just Chris ripping those Floridians to pieces and talking shit while he did it. And he made it super fun to watch. And so that's why I'm passionate about the PBA project before, Go Sports now. The story must be told. No one wakes up in the morning and gives a shit what Tyler Harmon's doing. You have to make these people care. And you do that by telling them a good story or showing them a good story, which is why I love watching you play paintball because you get hype, dude. You're in the pits and you're stoking everybody up and getting everybody pumped, which is how Chris played. That's how Oliver played, which is funny because, you know, it's like Oliver's super zen and Buddha-like now, but that dude could unleash the demon with the best of them. And it's funny because, you know, you guys had Oliver on your show, but it's so interesting to hear him now because it's like he summoned the demon and purged the demon so much. And I think that, you know, that's why he just doesn't need to do this anymore. To be honest, the same thing with me, man. Like, you know, the passion that it takes to play this game at a high level, like once you have summoned and purged that demon so many times, and that's why it's so impressive that you're still so good at doing that at the level that you do it, and how it's just like you literally, it's like I'll look over in the pits and it's like, here comes Tyler, and it's like somebody has put it's like somebody's taken the batteries, you know, and they're just like, zit, 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 zit. All right, here it comes. Zzz, you know, and you go into that pit and you just amp everybody up. Somebody has to do that. Todd used to do that. Johnny Perchek used to do that for Dynasty. You know, everyone's got their own way shaped. Like I said, pirate ship, right? You got your, you know, the quartermaster who's got to make sure that the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and all the cannonballs are in tip-top shape. So the crazy, heavy, you know, burly dudes can put the goddamn cannonballs, you know, into the cannons and shoot them at the ships, you know, like, everything has to be the way it is. The heart does not do what the lungs do, you know? So I just love that you brought that up because, dude, that's you, man. You know, you are definitely carrying that legacy on of that energetic style of purging the demon and playing this game the way it's supposed to be played. And I just, you know, tip my hat to you for that. Anyway, but let's talk about how hard it is to win a tournament. Cause dude, obviously, you know, looking at I knew this would be a long show and I don't want to stop this at all now, but we do have to, cause we got a lot to carry on. And I feel like you and I could just do this all night, but and I know you got
all day, baby.
Stuff, but so does Darren.
Let's go.
And you know,
long haul.
Yeah. So long haul. So let's talk about that difficulty of winning a tournament here, because yes, you know, Dynasty, the most winningest team ever in the history of the game. Over, I think it's like 55 wins or something like that now. Over the lifespan of that team, multiple different incarnations of the squad. Incarnations of the game, 10-man, 7-man, X-ball with, you know, 2 halves, race to 7, where we currently are. You know, this game has evolved and changed as everything does. But this is what makes winning so special, is that because again, dude, a tournament paintball field is not your safe space. And that's what makes it magical, is that you get to get out there and you are formed by the cauldron and your force of will and trying to fight against these other people that want what you want. But that being said, you know, so then you guys, you know, you've been there for those wins. So let me ask you this. What do you feel is the specialness about a victory on a paintball field? Because most people don't ever get that, man. So I got to ask you that question because you've been there in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, man, it's timeless when you win a national event, international event. It's like, you know, time stands still. You've just defeated every paintball player in the world, and you are standing at the pinnacle of that. So it's a really magical experience. You know, I think I've won like 7 or 8 pro tournaments, and then you know, a series title. So we've got some wins under our belt, but we haven't won in a couple of years, and it's and a World Cup. That's right,
the most important one of them all.
Yeah. So it's timeless. It's surreal. And I pray that some of you guys out there who are hungry and cutting your teeth will be able to experience that someday, because it really, all that work you put in, all the years and years of losing your skin and getting shot to piss and just getting beat up is all worth it when you reach that moment with your brothers on the field and you guys are holding each other and screaming in each other's faces like, we just did this, let's go. You know, there's nothing better than that feeling right there. It transcends all time, and it will be with you for eternity. You know, long after you're gone, that'll still be in the universe, you know, having its power. So it's a timeless moment. You got to work your ass off for it, and everybody has to be on point. If you have one person that's not on point, you're not going to win, because it is a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill, a little bit of magic, all this time that you've put in, all mixed into one to capture those moments. And that's what you've got to do out there. You got to capture those moments, because they're happening so fast and they can slip right through your fingers if you don't just stay in the moment and capture them with each other.
So before we go and talk some one-on-one, because you and I could go blast off into the eternity of paintball forever here. But
Of course.
but so yeah, for sure. And we can always do more of the shows, and you got your own show. But so
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the flow state of the game, because I feel like if I'm going to ask this, I do ask this occasionally, it comes up occasionally, but I feel that because you're the type of player you are and the way you play the game and how much you kind of look at that energetic approach, that flow state, mental intensity that you bring to the game of paintball. I just got to ask you about what you think of, like, what do you need to do to get yourself into that flow state where you are receiving the information and you are reacting to it, or acting, having your opponent react, but you're right on that edge. You're right on that edge of the acting versus reacting question. But this is just something that I kind of wanted you to speak on, because it's so hard to define. But to play your best game, you can't be just reacting to your opponents, but you do have to react when they throw a crazy overhand right at you, and you got to do, you got to adjust here. You can't just take it on. It's not boxing. You can't just take it on the chin and then react. You get shot, you're out, and then you got to go back and figure out what you did wrong. Paintball's different than that. It's more it's a little more cerebral, still physical. So as far as being at that razor's edge of performance in that flow state, what are your thoughts on how to get yourself into that moment mentally, physically, during the maelstrom of the tournament? What do you think?
Well, it starts long before you step onto that field Sunday. It starts weeks and weeks prior, when you're in the gym and doing all the work that you do, thinking about the opponents that you're going to play, thinking about your teammates, thinking about how you're going to approach the layout. It's all manifesting in a Sunday afternoon, but it's from the creations that you've set forth weeks prior. You've really got to be dialed in and ready to meet the moment when you are there on that Sunday afternoon. And I know when we're all in flow state, because my head's on fire and I can look into my guys' eyes and I know that we're ready to do this. And I can also tell the opposite when we're not in that flow state. And it's a really magical thing when you're on that field and you are meeting the moment and meeting that player that you've been studying and meeting those teams that you've been studying, and you've been preparing for those moments the whole time. So it's about grasping those moments, being prepared for them by doing the diligent work prior, and then having all of your guys on the same page. You got to be able to look at everybody when you show up to that practice the weekend before the tournament and know that y'all have been giving your fucking best, man. You got to be really dialed in, and everybody's got to be going for it. Everybody's got to be doing the extra work and giving their heart and soul to the game. Otherwise, you will not walk away with that gold on Sunday. It's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay, so let's talk about the performance Dynasty had at the first event. So obviously COVID world here, the Rona has come in and just thrown a bowling ball into what we've been trying to achieve here. But, we got to just deal with it as it is. The regional leagues, regional conferences have been set up. You guys are on the West Coast. It seems to be widely considered that the South Central is the hardest. The West is the second hardest. And then the East Coast is, as J-Rab was calling it, the most free, which I thought was kind of funny. But you guys are in that West Coast division. But man, you guys had a really good run again in the prelims, where it was like, oh man, Dynasty looks dialed in, a couple pickups here or there. Things have changed. You got Scotty Kemp back, or Scotty Kemp on the squad, but he's back in the game. He's a veteran, been around for a long time, very competent. You picked up Mike Urena. He's a bowling ball type player. That's a guy that likes to get after it. He can be explosive and create moments for guys like yourself. I mean, obviously you can be explosive too, but I feel like his playing style does complement the squad. But you beat Infamous by 1. You beat Aftermath by 4. You beat Level by 4. You had some high-scoring games out there, and then you beat AC Dallas by 6. And that was kind of the big statement to the league. Like, all right, look, we're not messing around. We're beating AC Dallas in a mercy rule win. And AC Dallas is one of the best teams in the world. They've been to the finals 4 times. And they've been consistently actually a little bit above you guys in the overall series ranks. It's been kind of you guys at 5th and then them at 4th. They finished down at 7th place because of that, that win you guys had over them, which helped anyway. But then you guys go on and you play Revo in the quarterfinals and you ended up losing that game by 3. So, before we head on and talk about the one-on-ones, what were your thoughts on Dynasty's performance in Vegas? And then we'll go into your thoughts on the regional conferences.
Yeah, I was definitely disappointed, to say the least. We were ready to win that tournament. It was just a matter of not being aware as we could on Sunday. These guys are hungry. And I will say that right now in pro paintball, the competition is more fierce than it's ever been. I actually just had Kirill from the Russian Legion on Play the Game podcast yesterday. And he was talking about how he's like, there's been a shift in the pro leagues. There is no more. It's not about the money, Tyler. It's about who's got the most heart. And these guys are all playing with heart out there. And we love that. We love to see that. And it's a really powerful statement to what's being produced by platforms like this, platforms like Go Sports, the NXL, and the premier league that they're putting on. It's really driving paintball to areas that it's never been. There's never been a higher level of paintball IQ and paintball fundamentals than there is right now. Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing to watch because I've been playing for so long, and where we're at right now, there's never been more eyeballs on paintball either. I feel like with Instagram, with platforms like this, we have more eyes watching paintball right now than we ever have in the history of the game, which is a big statement. But to get back to Vegas, it was disappointing. The guys we didn't show up. We didn't show up on that Sunday. We underestimated the playing ability of those guys. And there was a few pretty big mistakes that were made by some of our players that really cost us on that game. And I try to tell my guys, on Sunday, whatever you did prior, change it.
Doesn't matter. Well, it also doesn't matter because it's a brand new tournament. So yeah,
it's a brand new tournament. Yeah, and just the guys have been watching you. We're a dynasty. You think you don't have 1,000 eyeballs on you at every second? They're watching everything you do. So whatever you did, don't do that. And I think that it's hard. It's easy to say, but you got to really play the game a little bit different. It doesn't have to be much, but you got to just shift it a little bit. Otherwise, you're gonna get peeled back.
Yeah. Well, it's like, the word for 2020 has been pivot, right? Whatever business you're in or how you got to pivot. It's like, and dude, on Sunday you got to pivot because if the dude expects you to go right and you go right, you're gonna wear a chest and a face full of paint, and you're gonna be walking off going like, "Oh damn it, dude, I got shot. This sucks." Whereas maybe you go left. So yeah, you got to pivot, man. You got you have to adjust to their adjustments, but this is what makes it so difficult. But yeah, and also Revo's really good. Revo's been incredibly consistent for a decent amount of time. They've only missed one Sunday. I would have to go. I got a ton of notes here, but in order to I think Revo's missed one Sunday in the past two to going all the way back to 2018, 2019 and heading into Vegas. So we're talking 11 events. They've missed one Sunday. That's incredibly impressive. And then they've made some top fours. Like Revo is another team, I say this every show. I could not agree with you more. I've literally said this on every show that I've done. Probably, and I called this last year. I'm like, dude, we've never seen tournament paintball. I asked this of all the dudes on the show before Vegas. I said, dude, look, all the way down to 12, everyone's got a chance to win. And heading into, that. And so, the Ironman were sitting at 10th place overall, Thunder 11th, and Infamous at 12th. So the fact that Infamous had stacked up, and Infamous is, I don't think it's just the dark horse to potentially win events over there. They're one of the favorites to win the events in the East Coast division. So going all the way down to 12th place, you're telling me the teams have a chance to win. Sure enough, the Ironman at 10th place win the event. If that doesn't send a lightning bolt of confidence through every goddamn tournament player on planet Earth, then bro, you need to wake up because that's what's possible. With some hard work and some confidence, with some diligence of the plan, like that's what's possible. And I just think that it was amazing to watch. I also, I literally walked over to those dudes right before the event because I was so tired, right before the finals, because I'm so tired after being on the Ironman for 6 years. I was on the team. We won and did well. And that team's the oldest pro team in existence, and they've sucked for so long. And I walked over to them right before they played the finals, and I said, "Live your dream. Right now is the chance to live your dream. You don't get a lot of opportunities to do this. Live your dream right now. It's right in front of you. Take it." And they took it, man. And it was just that was it. It's like, dude, I don't care who you are. Like, sure, Dynasty doesn't want to see the Ironman win any tournaments, and neither does any of these other teams. However, as a paintball fan, like that's a shot of joy into this game, and it sucks so much that now we have this big pause, and now we got to go into these regional conferences, which isn't the best 20 there, and it just totally sucks. But dude, it is what it
Yeah.
is. You know, part of life is that you
That's
don't always
it.
get what you want. You don't always get what you want. And what we want right now is the full 20 teams to battle it out. Hopefully we'll get that at Cup. Anyway, so
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts then on the West, on the conferences in general? When you like just, you know, when we went into the COVID hole and the Rona's screwing everything up, and now we got it, everyone's in this quarantine, and then you heard that. What was your kind of what was the first thing that came to your mind? Were you like, yes, or were you like, this totally sucks, or I'm stoked on our conference, or, you know, what just give me your thoughts, Tyler. I got to know. You've been around forever. I value your opinion.
Yeah. So, I mean, my first thought is, damn, COVID sucks. I wish we had, you know, normal tournaments.
Totally.
But after that,
1000%.
I was like, okay, yeah. So I was so grateful that we still have an opportunity to play. I was like, hell yeah, you know, we get to play some paintball. I'm stoked. Let's go. And I think I agree with you totally on the way that the conferences are set up. You know, you got the South Central is pretty gritty. West Coast, East Coast, pretty comparable. And then, you know, it's going to be a bloodbath and all these things. And it's going to be really interesting to see the dynamic of how all these play out with these. It's never been done before like this, where you got these clumps of pro teams playing each other the way that they are. I think that ours is going to be pretty strong. We got the tournament winner, Ironman, DMG, up and coming strong team. Obviously, Impact is thoroughbreds over there. And then you got Thunder and Uprising, who are going to be battling it out as well. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm so proud to be a part of this league. The NXL is doing a tremendous job putting everything together. I know things haven't been easy, but the leaders and everybody who's a part of it are doing the best they can to give paintball players that platform. And we absolutely salute you for that. I know, just on behalf of all the paintball players, thank you guys for everything.
So let's talk some one-on-one, because that is definitely the story of the day.
Boom, baby.
Yeah, boom. So you're the current Pro Tour champ. Again, everyone, we got the Ultimate Shootout that's going to be going down tomorrow, which, you know, I can neither confirm nor deny anything that happened, because I know who won both of those tournaments. We played 2 tournaments in a weekend. I know who won both of them, but it's BJ Hendingberg and Ryan Hall. That was definitely a bloodbath. Hopefully everyone got a chance to check out the one that went down this past weekend, Clint Johnson and Jesse. That one was fun to watch. And then, you know, of course, Meter Ninos and you know, his older brother, essentially. And then when I found out about this, I was so stoked when we were like, okay, you know, Go Sports is going to be doing the Pro Tour as well too. I was like, hell yes. You know, just we need paintball to exist. This is all good, man. Everything's good. Shout out to HK for doing it. Shout out to Cena, Rab, everyone behind the scenes, Greg Pauly that's putting on these ultimate shootouts, Darren, everyone what are we trying to do right now? We're trying to keep the goddamn paintball fires lit, because it has been, you know, you guys would do the Play the Game podcast, you and Marcelo, dude, anyone that's telling stories right now, anyone that's organizing, anyone that's doing infrastructure, as we just spent some time talking about, Tyler and I and all the people behind this, we all feel super passionately that this game is a blessing to the human race. And we want as many people to participate in the game of paintball as possible, because there are just so many gifts of the game. I will never stop saying that, because it is as true as water is wet and the sky is blue. So the fact that we have 2 different outlets for one-on-one paintball with different rules, I think is a blessing for every paintball fan out there. You're the current champion. You're going to be taking on Keith Brown. I want your thoughts on the Ultimate Shootout. That's coming up tomorrow. But first, let's talk about this, dude. So, you know, everyone when I first I sat down with Brandon Short years ago, and we talked about this, and we were talking one-on-ones. We were trying to do one-on-ones forever. But you know, UR was a name that kind of came up as a guy that would be really good at this format because of the way you play the game. You definitely demolished everyone in front of you, essentially, to be the title holder right now. You got Keith Brown in front of you. Let's talk about, I want to talk about your road to being the champ, but also got to talk about your current, you know, your enemy right now, Keith Brown. I think he's a noble challenger, just in many different ways, shapes, and form. But anyway, let's just, how did you just tell your story, how you got to this and how you got to hold that belt right now?
Yeah. So, Keith Brown is not going to be a slouch. You know, I'm going to have to come with everything I got to beat that guy. And I am working diligently to make that happen. So how this all came to fruition, Shorty, you know, I was on Dynasty with Short, and we talked about this a lot too. And Short is a true pioneer and such a legend, man. Short is one of the best snake players to ever play the game. if not arguably the best. I mean, Short did more for the
You could
game
definitely
in
put
the
him up there
snake
with
side
the
of the.
best, dude, for sure. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
like you can't argue that. If you're arguing that, you didn't
no,
watch. That's how I look at it.
that's absolutely, man. And Short's my dog. We would talk about these one-on-ones all the time. And he had this dream and he's brought it to reality, you know, with the Pro Tour. And it's so beautiful that you guys have merged and that it's going to be live on Go Sports. It's such a huge moment for paintball. And I just want to say, man, like you said, Matty, all of these formats are beautiful. We need as much paintball as we possibly can. You know what I mean? And obviously, you know, there's a lot going on right now, but we got to just boost paintball in any form, shape that it comes. We got to boost paintball. So the Pro Tour is coming up on June 19th. I'm going to be playing Keith Brown. I had to defeat Kyle Spica to get the title. And that was a fun match to play. Kyle's wily and he's...
Can you, but just, I don't mean to interrupt, but can you just remind people of the score?
Yeah, well, the score, I think I beat him pretty good.
My tea over here.
Yeah, I can't remember I don't want to burn him too bad, but yeah,
no,
I definitely
know. I love Kyle, but Kyle's really good. But okay. You don't need to say the score. My point is this: you beat up Kyle pretty good.
Yeah.
Kyle's a hell of a player. He's a great. So the fact that you were able to take down Kyle Spica in that type of a situation just reiterates the fact of how good you are at playing this style of the game, which anyone that's watched you play this, look, dude, you know, paintball, like football or baseball, I mean, there are positions to this, you know, but once we head into this one-on-one world, you know, there's different rule set for the Pro Tour, different rule set for the Ultimate Shootout, you know, so each one of those rule sets is definitely going to be, you know, that's a conversation there. We don't really know because this is all brand new. You know, this is all untested territory. We came over the mountain, we hiked the mountain, we're coming down the other valley, and we're looking at two different valleys, and it's like no one's been here before. You know, so we're the first people to gaze upon this land, and we're trying to figure out, well, what crops are going to grow here best. You know, again, you know, just pick your metaphor.
Yeah.
But we're looking at this going like, we don't really know how this is all going to go down. When I drove to Texas, because, you know, again, I got some family situations that I'm a little worried about getting on a plane right now for, so I have to take care of people, but I will have to get on a plane eventually. But that being said, so, you know, I wanted to go out there and see how this was going to go down. I drove up to Paris, California, where we're going to have the event at ASG, and to kind of scope that out this past weekend. But, you know, we don't really know exactly how this is all going to go down, dude. There's no old people to consult on this. You are one of those people. You're the champion currently. So it's like when we look at Keith Brown, you know, it's like first to 21 points. You got to win by 2. You know, I mean, I could break the points down, but do you want to break the points down real quick for the Pro Tour? Just because obviously you won it. So, you know, you're the champion. For everyone out there kind of wondering how it's going to go down.
Yeah, and actually Short has changed the format a little bit since I've played. But yes, it's broken down now with a 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point format. So the first set of bunkers along the back line are worth 1 point. The second set is 2, and the middle is worth 3. And if you eliminate your opponent from each one of those spots, that's the points that you get. And then it's a race to 21, I believe. You got to win by 2, I believe. And so it's gonna be crazy to play this thing out. And I pride myself on, you know, being a pretty good gunfighter. So I think I'm gonna be able to hold my weight here, and hopefully I can do pretty well out there. And you know, I love paintball. I just love this game so much, and I'm such a student of the game, and I'm working harder than I think anybody there is in the world right now at paintball. And I really care about being the best that I possibly can be for my teammates, for myself, and to boost paintball in every facet. As I've started a company with Marcelo, we're both diving in head first and trying to be the best people that we possibly can be in this industry.
Yeah, no, it's just great to see, man. And like you said, we need torch carriers, you know, we need pathfinders, and you're one of those guys. So, and it is a collective effort. I say this, we're basically, you know, we're all fighting the same war. We're just on different fronts. And so, you know, whether it be Pro Tour, whether it be Ultimate Shootout, whether it be NXL, whether it be the 7-man thing, teaching clinics, running a store, running a field, running a company, we're all collectively get better. Like I said earlier, with the, you know, when you're looking at when we're talking about Mardi Gras, with a rising tide raises all boats. So when the economy's doing really well, everyone does better. And so when paintball in its many ways, shapes and forms and all the different ways to play, of course there's going to be competition. But the story must be told. We have to get people excited about it, and that's the most important thing, because no one just is going to get up in the morning tomorrow and go, God damn, I'm so fascinated by paintball. This is super interesting. No, they got to listen to a story. Somebody's got to sit down and be like, hey, dude, give me a second. You got your beer? All right, open a new one, because I got to tell you about Tyler Harmon versus Keith Brown. Or I got to tell you about BJ Henningberg versus Ryan Hall for the Ultimate Shootout this weekend that'll be on tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's important. Malcolm Gladwell he's talking about outliers. One of the most important people, you have connectors, salesmen, and then you have mavens, and you need your mavens, dude. Everyone's got that guy. Like, everyone's got their car guy. Everyone's got their golf guy. Everyone's got their baseball dude, their football guy. It's like, you want to know something about beer, you got the guy to call or the girl to call or whatever it is. You hit that person up. They know more about that subject than anyone That's a maven. And we we need to service the mavens as much as possible, because I'm that for MMA. So I love watching mixed martial arts. I love watching the UFC. So it's like, I was the dude when UFC 2 rolled around. I'm at my high school. I mean, like, so I had to go to my dad and be like, hey, can we get this pay-per-view? And he's like, hell no. You think I'm going to spend that money on that? I was like, he's like, if you get your friends and everyone pays me $5, then maybe we'll get it at the house. So then I'm at school like, okay, dude, this is going to be crazy. And I'm like trying to tell the story, and I got enough people to come to the house to pay the money so we could watch the show. And so it's like, you got to service those mavens. So I'm just stoked on everything that's going down. I'm really excited about, because I've seen the Pro Tour in the videos, but I haven't been able to see it live. So I do want to go there and experience that live. Again, it's going down at ASG, Paris, California. It's only about an hour and a half from here. And to see you and Keith battle, that's going to be super fun. Also, Chad Boucher is going to be throwing down against Pat Kraft. And then also we're trying to get a third battle going on. We need some pros to step up, though, because not everybody wants to play. So we'll see how it's going to go down.
Yeah.
But I would like to get some more people in the mix to be a little fearless here and, help lead the charge and, be Achilles in the movie Troy and just show up and be willing to battle. I know Corey Hall is looking for an opponent right now. I played golf with Corey Hall yesterday afternoon. He wants to play. He'll play anyone that shows up. Anybody who wants to come play Corey Hall on one-on-one, he's down. Yeah, he's just down for the cause. So I'm just throwing that out there. Corey Hall's calling everyone out in all of paintball. If you want to play Corey Hall in a one-on-one live, then you want the smoke, then he's willing to take it. And because we already got Pat Kraft and Chad, we need a third battle. That's at stake currently. I don't know who's going to step up. We're not sure who it's going to be. Maybe, and then Corey, we'll see who else. Maybe Corey's got to take the seat to some other legends. I don't know. We'll see who shows up. But I'm just saying there's a third battle at stake here. But let me get your thoughts, though, as the one-on-one champ for the Pro Tour. Like you said, we're all just soldiers in this big climactic battle trying to fight to move paintball forward. What are your thoughts on the Ultimate Shootout? I think you do really well at it. We got Chad Boucher. He's already playing in both. I mean, to hold both belts at the same time would be pretty epic. That would be some like legendary shit right there that, that you can't really touch. That's some like generational stuff. But from what you've seen it's interesting with the way the buzzers work, and there's different styles to win because you go on the kill streaks. I definitely, but let me just ask you this: Ryan Hall, BJ Henningberg. You don't know who wins. You haven't seen it yet. What do you think? Who do you think is going to win this one? You played against both these guys.
Whoa, yeah. I don't know. That's a tough question, man. I'm gonna just go with BJ. I'm just gonna say BJ. I think that maybe he'll walk away with it. But yeah, those dudes are both going at it, man. I've been watching that. It is nuts.
Yeah,
we got these guys just going balls to the wall, smashing into each other. It's really cool. I like the gimmickiness of it with the smoke and the buzzers and the, you can get a little bit lost with the big bunkers. There's a lot going on. It's highly entertaining. And as long as, we keep broadcasting, and players got to step up. We've got to broadcast everybody. Everybody's got to get involved and start playing, and I know it's just you out there and you got to put your name on the line, but you gotta get involved and start just playing the game. It's gonna be fun to watch how it all develops.
Well, remember, dude, I brought this up last time when I was talking to Chad, but it was, but it's like different ways to play the one-on-one, because like when I talked to Matt Jackson about it, actually a bunch of different dudes, because I said, hey, dude, Matt, props for you showing up, because dude, if Matt Jackson rolls into that event and he doesn't win it, that's a knock against
Yeah.
Matt. You know, like it sucks that that's the way that people look at it. I wouldn't knock Matt against going up there because you never really know as we see this. So yeah, without giving anything away, I mean, there was some, like, I did not know they were smashing into each other, but it was like basically BJ stabs Ryan in the stomach with his barrel. Ryan had like it was like an impact mark and then a scrape mark down, like somebody had just literally scraped him with a knife all the way down his stomach. But to give Ryan credit, bro, like Ryan shook it off like nothing had happened. He's a former high school football player. He handled it like a man.
Oh yeah.
So I had to, tip my hat a little bit to Matt because, like, dude. So, and I brought this up with Chad Boucher. He's playing in both. He's going to be there playing Pat Craft in the Pro Tour. He'll be at the Ultimate Shootout, the second one. Which, dude, the list of people playing the second Pro Tour or the second Ultimate Shootout is pretty nasty. J-Rab, Harrison Fry, Fred Berkeley, Nick Sloviak, Cody Mikowski. We had him on the show. If you missed that one, check it out. Yesterday, TJ Danner, and then Chad Boucher. Dude. I don't know who the 8th guy is. It takes 8s. That's a solid lineup, right? That'll be fun to watch.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. But the thing is that, what I had brought up with Chad is that, and it's a fun movie. It's, about a thing that really happened, Battle of Troy. So the Greeks and Achilles and Agamemnon, they fought against Troy with Hector. It's a crazy, legendary story. Homer wrote. It's in the canon. But there's an awesome scene where, the little kid goes in and Brad Pitt, Achilles, is sitting there with his babes. He's got his threesome going on. He's like sitting there with both his babes and in the tent. And the kid rolls in and he's like, "Hey, man, Agamemnon is summoning you to fight this crazy dude." And then, Achilles comes out and he gets. And it's funny because my name for Oliver, and has been for years, is Achilles. In my phone, Oliver Lang is Achilles. It's a different story, but yeah. So Achilles rolls out and he gets on the horse and the kid looks up at him. He's like, "You're gonna go fight that. You're gonna go fight that monster, that giant." He's like, "I wouldn't want to do it. He looks scary." And without missing a beat, Brad Pitt, aka Achilles, looks at him and he's like, "Yeah, kid, that's why no one's ever gonna remember your name." And then rides off and has the dope ass kill. So it's like, you got to step up and fight your fight, right? If no one's dying here, dude. It's paintball. You're not gonna die. If you lose, sure, maybe you'll lose a little bit of glory, but not if you've already stacked up enough glory that you're a legend. So, roll up, take the fight, and let's try to push this all forward, right? Because we need our, we need guys like yourself that are in the prime of your life, 31 years old, killing machine, out there willing to throw down against whoever's willing to roll up. As an MMA fan, like anyone that's willing to fight anyone at any time, like obviously health considering, it's just cool. So I got to give you your props that you were willing to do this when Brandon hit you up, that you were able to win. And then, now as the champ, you kind of got to fight who's next to go. Next to go is Keith. So before I kind of let you go, I got to ask you though, what do you see any weaknesses in Keith's game? Any strengths that you need to deal with? When we were breaking this down, I thought that this was a fun matchup because, you're so good at a lot of different elements to this game. You play great counterpunch paintball. You're good on the offense. You're a hell of a gunfighter. You're tall enough to be able to play every spot, but also you fold up enough that you can play spots like a dude who's 5'6". Keith, though, the way that he was just killing dudes one ball at a time with that wicked snapshot in kind of damages rise back up the ranks where they became relevant again. It was so nasty. So the fact that Keith was so wicked with the snapshot and so on point and so fierce and motivated, that this is just one of those matchups that I just can't wait to watch.
And I can't wait to play it. I wouldn't rather play anybody else than Keith Brown. I think that he is one of the best gunfighters. I think that he is one of the most tenacious players, and he makes me a better paintball player. And I tip my hat to Keith. I think he's a great dude. One of my buddies when I'm at the tournament, but he's not going to be my buddy here soon. And I can't wait to get down. I can't wait to get down here in a couple weeks. It's just a matter of days away, and it's going to be a big battle. I think that we're going to go the distance. You're going to see a lot of fun paintball. I think that there's a lot of great technique that's going to be showed on both parties. And man, I'm going to walk away with that gold, though. You better believe that. Let's go.
Oh, I can't wait, dude. Yeah, it's going to be great, dude. Keith Brown, Tyler Harmon for the Pro Tour Championship. Also, Chad Boucher is going to be taking on Pat Craft. I think Corey Hall is going to be playing somebody. We don't know who's going to step up and actually be brave enough to fight in the one-on-one. And then also we're going to keep rolling it with the Ultimate Shootout. So mark your calendars for June 19th. Also, the 7-man, we're going to be broadcasting that as well too, Saturday and Sunday, 20th, 21st at ASG, live on Go Sports. But yeah, man, we got lots of more Ultimate Shootout coming as well too. And then the USXBL is coming out. Can't wait for these dates to drop here for the regional leagues too. Tons of stuff coming on. Please check out Tyler Harmon and Marcelo Margot's new podcast. They've got tons of great guests, all the leading lights, to Play the Game podcast. They got swag you could buy too. Definitely get yourself a little mug, a t-shirt, support them, man. Look, we're all trying to, push this forward, and it doesn't happen without people like yourself. It takes money to make the world go around, and that's just how things get done. That's the reality of the situation. That's the no bullshit assessment of everything. So, thank you guys so much for subscribing. Please support everyone that's at the front lines, including guys like Tyler and Marcelo. And, we're all just trying to move this forward, man. We all love this game. But after sitting on my damn couch and watching too much Netflix and reading all my history books and having no paintball happen and doing these shows, and just trying to talk about Vegas and talk about this, I'm stoked that we actually have competition paintball about to go down, already gone down too. So yeah, check out the DJ and Ryan Hall match that's going down tomorrow. Mark your calendars for Tyler stuff. Tyler, anyone to thank before we sign off, or anything else you want to talk about, or anything you want to say?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, HK Army. Huge shout out to them for always supporting us. Field One Paintball. Thank you to everybody that supports us on our mission to Play the Game podcast. Thank you guys all out there for tuning in, and all the paintball companies and all the paintball people around the world, man. We're all in this together. We're going to make it out of this. I know things are crazy, but just keep playing the game, keep having fun. And paintball is going to be back stronger than ever. Huge shout out to my wife and kids. Love you guys. I know maybe my wife will listen to this, so get some cookie points there. And my dad and my mom and my parents too. For my dad, he's the one that got me into the game, and love you so much, Pa. And yeah, man, everybody just keep having fun, and let's push this thing forward.
Hell yeah. Can't wait for everything that's going down here. Paintball's back. I'm excited about it. So Tyler, thank you so much for sitting in, man. You have the best of weekends, and everybody out there in paintball land, I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, baby. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Oh, and they run right into each other.
Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
Welcome to Go Sports Tactics. I'm really excited about this one today. We finally got Justin Rabikoff here on the show.
In any case, every player should be jumping, especially on a bunker like that, should be jumping over the lane. First off, I want to say that kill was as free as the East Coast Division. I back to the thing, and Chad runs through at that exact moment. You have to play perfect to win a tournament, right? And this is one of those situations.